Hello there, Blindy Sama here, and this is episode 2 of Blindy Builds. Today we're going to look at some non-spiked clubs, cudgels, and fighting sticks that I've made. And we're going to start with this guy. I call this guy Frank. It's one of the first pieces I made when I first got back into crafting and woodworking. And I call him Frank because it kind of reminds me of a hot dog. But Frank here is made out of oak and is stained a color called Royal Garnet. And if you look, you can see the spiral that I carved by hand with an old worn out round file. I didn't even have a proper rasp at the time. I just found some old tools in one of my sheds, cleaned them up, and said, I'm going to use these. And it used to take me forever to do a spiral. And now I know why. But it has this really cool kind of rustic aesthetic to it. And the spiral turned out pretty good. And down here we have a little nub for a hand stop. And then this grip here, it's not perfect. I know you can see the big knot right here. I had to piece together the two long cords. But this is a type of cord called jute. It's super cheap, and if you glue it in place right, can make a really good grip. So that's Frank, one of the first projects I did when I first got back into using my brain to make stuff with my hands. I want to see if I can still do it with my level of vision that I have now, which is not great. So yeah, that's Frank. I actually really enjoy Frank. I thought about giving him away as a gift, but I'm not sure. It's kind of a reminder of where I was when I first got back into it, and, you know, to compare to what I'm doing now. And it's only been a few months, but I feel like I've come a long way. So the second one, this is not in chronological order of when I've made these. But the second one here, yeah, big honkin' one, is, you know, very baseball bat shaped and is stained moonless, which looks like stone to me. Like a gray-blue stone color. And it's a piece of seasoned oak, so I was very lucky that I was able to get my hands on some seasoned wood. And I was able to make several pieces out of the seasoned wood, two of which got sent to YouTubers that are friends of mine. One of them being my buddy, brother Nathaniel, the Levin Lance. He has lore about a thing called the Lodge, and I made him a little wooden club that would fit the aesthetic of some of the bad guys in his universe. And then the other one, which is a spiked club, I sent to the guys at Unsheathed Swords. Go check out both those guys' YouTube channels, the Levin Lance and Unsheathed Swords. Wonderful people, super nice guys. So back to this guy. Yeah, it's very much, you know, ye old medieval baseball bat. And I like it because the wood had a lot of really cool characteristics. Like that. And then, of course, I know it's not perfect, but this is definitely a functional piece. Of course, I hand-carved the spiral. And almost all my pieces do have a coat of polyacrylic on them for protection. But I was really happy with how this piece came out. And it's surprisingly heavy. Like, if you pick up a baseball bat and then pick this up, there's a drastic difference in weight. The next one, this one's really neat. This is one of my early pieces, but it turned out really, really good. And I was very happy that the wood didn't go poo-poo on me. And it's also stained Royal Garnet. And I like it because I did like a double spiral thing going on here. Wait, is this the one I did that on? It doesn't matter. Either which way, the grip is hand-carved by me. And it turned out super neat. And it's actually surprisingly comfortable for not having any leather or anything on it. And I like this piece of wood because it's got a really cool bend in it. And a lot of people would say, well, that's not a functional club with that bend in it. I beg to differ. It almost reminds me of like a wooden khopesh. But the cool thing about it is you can use it either this way and use the outside edge of the belly of the club for striking, or you can flip it over and concentrate the force on this tip. Or you can also possibly get some hooking action in right in here. So the club is versatile. You can use it either facing either way, and I've practiced with it and played with it, holding it either way, and it will work both ways. Fine and dandy. So yeah, I really like that one. I'm really happy with it. I don't think I'll ever get rid of this one just because of how neat it is, unless someone has just the right thing in their fiction or something, and it matches, I might very well pass it over to a person then. But until then, it's staying in my personal collection just because I like how it turned out. I'm noticing that I have an addiction to clubs. This one's one of the pieces I recently finished, actually, and I'm very, 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 very proud of it. Sorry, presentation is everything, they say. So, this guy, let's see if I can curse you, camera. This guy is the carrion cudgel. And, that's a little bit better. And it very much looks like some kind of femur bone or something. Sorry, feather in the way, there's being a distraction. And it is oak. It isn't bone, it is oak. And just, I had to do very little shaping to this wood, because Mother Nature did one of those things where, here you go, and it turned out great. And I really love how it turned out with the brown leather cord against the contrast of the black. And it looks like a big old femur. And then, luckily, my father and I were shopping, and he found a vulture feather in Yield parking lot. And I figured, it looks like an old bone. I have a vulture feather. And, well, hence now we have birthed the carrion cudgel. And I love this little guy. This is another one that, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to keep it. You know, I was tempted to sell it, but I'm very tempted to just hold on to it forever and ever and ever and ever. This is probably one of the most likely ones I'm going to hold on to compared to all the previous ones, with the exception of the next two I'm about to show you. And it's because they're super neat. And this one already is super cool, and I love it. So let me show you the last two. Give me a second, because they're actually a matching pair. Do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Can you guess what it's supposed to be? I bet you can, if you can see. Unlike me. So, why won't you cooperate? Anyway, so this is cool. I did have a little bit of help with this one, sort of, kind of. So here we have, it's a matching set of a club and a little baton. Originally, that little piece was going to be a wand, and I realized it's sturdy enough to be a baton. And they're both also made out of oak. Maybe if I face it this way, it'll be better. Yeah, a little bit better. So, I give you 3 guesses. What does it look like? That's right. Dragons. I've been really lucky to find a lot of pieces of wood that were already somewhat dragon-shaped. And so I have a lot of dragon wands and a dragon scepter or 2 laying around, and I got this pair, the sea dragon, baton and club. And the spiral I carved by hand, of course, back before I had a proper rasp, and it took like 10 million years to do with an old dull round file. And I painted them tidal teal, and then someone who's very awesome did me a favor, because I don't have the eyes or steady enough hands to do it. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera well, but if you look in the spirals, the light might make it reflect too much. But inside the spirals is silver paint. So there's this beautiful contrast of the teal and the silver. So you have your, your baton in your offhand. And I like it because the wood's also got like a really cool curve. If you hold it this way, you can see like the curvature of the wood. It's really neat. And then you have this big honking guy or girl and your main hand. You could definitely use these. I, obviously I'm going to say they're decorative, but they're stout enough that you could use them. And I waited a long time to finish these, actually. And I was so happy with how they turned out. Other than the carry and cudgel, these guys I think will always be with me. The other guys, I know I said that about some of the other guys, but they might have to find another home at some point. But yeah, this pair of sea dragons and the carry and cudgel, love them. Love how they turned out. And I know, guys, I know. These are not the bestest things in the universe, blah, 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 blah. Let me tell you a little secret. I'm having fun making them, and I'm blind. So, but yeah, there's some non-spiked, non-studded clubs that I've made that I'm very happy with, and I hope you have a nice day and be safe.